Hey, today I'm going to be making a last Ronin diorama. I'm going to do April's garage / hideout. I have the April that I made a while back. She's going to live there. So a couple months ago I ordered some carts, I guess you call them. They're like shelves on wheels. And one of them came with this piece of styrofoam. I was like, I could make a wall out of that. And the other one came with these pipes for some reason. And then I was eating a box of chocolates and I was thinking about life, and I was like, hey, that looks like a garage door. So that's the lining from a box of chocolates. But if you don't have a box of chocolates, you can do the same thing with a piece of cardboard. If you peel off carefully the first layer, then you get the same kind of design on the inside of the cardboard, and you could use that to peel this whole thing. And I have a bunch of stuff I 3D printed as well that I'm going to use, and stuff that I made when I made April that's going to go in there. So a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to speed things up a little here and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. It's the future, and now I cut the piece of styrofoam to get the size that I want. I have a specific space where this will fit, and now I'm gonna cut out the garage door opening. But first I glue together the two pieces of that chocolate box lining, and then I cut some cardboard to hold it all together extra strong, and then I use that to outline and cut through the styrofoam to get it out. So it takes a couple passes. All these little balls I've vacuumed like 2 or 3 times. They're still all over my apartment, but I guess it was worth it. It came out good, and it's an easy reusable material. Well, I mean, you get it and you can use it instead of throwing it in the garbage. But I use the width of the ruler to get the size of the bricks because it's just easier. I don't have to measure anything. So I go through once and then I go through again, because at first you get a nice smooth line, and then I'm just trying to break out little pieces and little balls and stuff, and I go up and down and through till it really starts to get some definition so that you can see it when I paint it. It'll all pop out, and then I'm going to use those for the side walls. And one I had to cut off the side and then stick it to the top, so I used 2 toothpicks and I stick them together, and they're about the same size now, everything. So that's kind of how it's gonna be set up, and that's just, there are a bunch of different pictures I used of April's place, and it's like light beige walls, so that's what I'm gonna go with. I have Modge Podge, and I glued those 2 pieces together, and then I just flipped it over so that the weight, I mean, there's like no weight, but the heavier part will push down so the glue will stick. Yeah, and then I mixed a whole bunch of burnt umber in with the Modge Podge that I poured, and now I'm just trying to really fill in all those cracks and cover everything with this dark brown. And every once in a while I'll dip the brush in some water so that it'll get into the cracks better. And that's April with the Fugitoid. Now after that dried, and I've done a light second coat just getting in the cracks with a more watery paint, I mixed white and cinnamon brown and sunny yellow to get this like yellowish beigeish color, and get a bunch on the brush, and I'm dabbing it on the bricks and then dry brushing it kind of over everything, but trying not to get in the cracks. So I'm just going light over the top and spreading it instead of pushing hard and getting in the cracks like I was doing with the dark brown. So that coat was much easier. And I had all these like screens and stuff that I 3D printed when I first got my 3D printer, just because they're cool things, and I thought I'll use it. Maybe do like Donnie's Lab one day, but I decided to do this instead. And my original plan didn't have this extra table, but these are little Jenga pieces, but they're knockoff Jenga I get from the dollar store for like $3 or $4, and so they're good when I need little pieces of wood. And I didn't want to cut anything, so I used those and a little square MDF piece that I also got at the dollar store for the top of the table. And now I'm painting all the screens white. So I wasn't going to do this table so that I would have more space, but since I decided to use those 2 old school screens, they need somewhere to sit. And I have 2 computers that I printed back in the day, or well, at some point, and this was a perfect time to use them, so that's what I'm doing. And first I paint them all white, and then I use silver to dry brush on some stuff and paint some stuff silver. Now I mix some cinnamon, or poured cinnamon brown, and I'm doing the wood, and I'm mixing a lot of water in, but I'll do some with no water, like lines, and then dip the brush in water and spread it around, and that's going to give like a wood grain. When it all dries, it'll be just different shades of wood grain. Yes. And now the color for the screen screens. I was trying to match kinda the screens in the comic book art that I've been showing you while we go along, but that's a tropical blue. So, and this little one, I thought it'll be like just static, so I painted it white and then did black and then white and just mixed it all together to make it a mess. So that's just like waiting for an emergency broadcast. And so now I'm cutting another piece that's going to hold it all together. So I'm going to glue it to the garage door, and then the parts that stick out, once the glue will dry, those will get glued on to the wall. But I forgot when I had the silver out that I want to dry brush a whole bunch of silver on this so that it'll look more metal and industrial and like a metal garage door. Now everything's dry. I have a matte acrylic varnish that I'm just going to seal everything up with, and it'll make it look, everything blend together and look natural, and the screens will look more screen-like because there's a clear coat over them. But I put a clear coat on pretty much everything all the time, but I didn't on the walls or on the walls or the door, because it gives it a different kind of more stony texture without the clear coat, which gives it more of a shiny. Even though it's matte, it's a little glossy. It looks, you know, extra clean or whatever, but it doesn't look as much like cement. Yeah, if I said it right, that makes sense. But now I'm using hot glue. I don't like using hot glue because you have to wait for it to warm up, and then you have to wait for it to cool off before you can put it away, the glue gun. But it's the best thing to do, the things that I'm doing right now. And I notice there's some gaps, so I get a bigger piece of cardboard and I stick that on the back, and that's just going to fill in any of the gaps. Now it's time to get ready, and I did a floor, just plain cardboard. I wasn't planning on it, but the walls were not standing up straight on their own, so I needed something to hold them in place more. But that little bit of thickness made it not fit in the place that I was going for, so at first I gave up and I'm like, alright, it'll just be sticking out halfway off of this shelf. But then a couple days later, while I was editing this video, I decided, no, I'm just going to shave some off so I can push it further back, and now I can fit that last Ronin, because him and April are the reason that I made this diorama. I wanted a place for them, so now they have a home. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, remember, always keep your head up. Peace.